Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, we take a look at my make night for 2025. I've worked out some of the fabrics for some of them. So yeah, 3 months on, still haven't done anything, but I've thought a lot about them and that has been fun. So let's take a look.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
As you can see from the title sequence, I do like making a Chanel style or French open jackets with no buttons. Previously, I'd done like 9 fabrics, 9 sewing patterns, 9 vintage sewing patterns. So this year I decided I'm going to do 9 jackets. Originally, I was going to do Chanel style jackets or this Berta 6123, which is a simple Chanel style jacket, but they take just over 1 yard of quilting cotton, whereas these shorter sleeve ones, this kimono style one, takes about 1 yard of fabric, and these tiny little boleros take half a yard. So I've decided to go with the half a yard ones just because they're like little cupcakes. Decorating a cupcake takes way less time than decorating a cake. So I'm going to make 9 small jackets and then decorate them in 9 different ways. So the first one is a strawberry jacket, and yeah, I've made mood boards for everything on Pinterest, and I've got a strawberry board. So the 3 main ideas are a jacket with lots of strawberries hanging off it, a jacket that looks like a strawberry, so red with pips on it with seeds on it and a green collar or something, and then something that's, I don't know, like they're called strawberries, but also I've got some gorgeous fabrics with strawberries on them. So this one, in the last episode, I showed you some beads that I might use for them. I think I'm going to go with the print one, and I'm going to hang beads off it and have a little white flower on the end, like it's a strawberry flower. And then also I do like the idea of red with gold pebble beads, so it looks like an actual strawberry, but I think I might make that as a mini handbag, not as a jacket. And then also I've got some green fabric. I've got loads of green fabrics. I've got this green felt, and I might hang strawberry shaped like kids' necklaces in the shape of strawberries. I've got loads of them, so I might make a green jacket and hang them off. Or strawberries are called strawberries because they're grown on dirt, and then to lift the strawberries off the dirt, there's straw. And I've got these bugle beads in gold, so they look like bits of straws, and I've got this really dark brown fabric, wool fabric, so I could do dark brown wool, the gold straw, and then a few berries and flowers on it. So I don't know. I've got all those fabrics, and we'll see which ones I cut out. Anyway, the next jacket number 2, is the Edinburgh jacket. I already have this Edinburgh Chanel tweed, which I made like 2 years ago, and I love that. So it's a Chanel tweed, and then I've put all different beads on it so that they're in the colours that buildings like the sandstone and the bluestone, and I absolutely love that jacket. So I was like, again. And so I've got this quilting cotton, and it's got it's like a tartan print, so it's not an actual tartan, and it's got Highland cows printed on there. So I might I might cut it up and make a tailored jacket out of it, sort of very Vivienne Westwood, doing the different angles of the lines in the tartan. Or when you have a kilt, you just have one 6 meter or 6 yard length, and you fold it strategically, and you never actually do any cuts. So I might use the entire 1 yard to make a bolero jacket that usually takes half a yard. I think that would be interesting. And then on the back, instead of having the usual triangle, I'm going to have a Heart of Midlothian, which is it's traditional to Scotland, and it means a lot to people there. I also do have a tweed that is a tartan, and I might make that into a jacket. And with the leftover bits of fabric, I might make another jacket that's just scraps of tartan mixed with flowers in the same colours, fabric flowers in the same colours. And also I've seen all these vintage brooches of thistles, so I really like the idea of doing a brooch jacket, but it's just vintage brooch thistles. A million ideas. I'll probably start with the Highland Cow one just because that fabric's there and ready to go. Next up we have the New York one, and I really like the idea of doing a pizza. There's this thing, people film rats in the subway running away with whole slices of pizza, and they're called subway rats or pizza rats. So I was going to do that, but there are so many people starving in this world, it just feels not right to do that. So I'm focusing on things that are just mean New York to me. So Central Park is the only place that I've ever seen fireflies. Like, I know they exist in other places, but in my mind, the fireflies are dusk in summertime in Central Park in New York City. So I've got this teal metallic fabric which I might use for the vintage brooch jacket, but the reverse side of it is black and it looks like it's got little flecks of colours. So I'm going to, on top of that, once I make the jacket, I'm going to stitch bits of foliage on there, like little bits of hedge, and then I'm going to put fairy lights or icicle lights under it so they glitter as well. But that way it'll also have an extra layer of glitter. And I've also might do glow in the dark beads as well. I feel like that's just a little bit too much. But anyway, the next New York City idea I had was from that movie You've Got Mail. It's another park, community garden, 91st Street Community Garden. It's featured right at the end of that movie, and basically I'm going to do a floral jacket like this yellow one, but there's a section of the community 91st Street Garden where they have iris and delphinium, so all the blues and the really dark purple flowers, and also some big white flowers. So I might do that floral jacket. And then of course there is, from The Gothamist, a local paper in New York City, did this human interest story about this dog walker and these other people who leave. There's a bunch of different people. They leave they order mini rubber ducks off the internet, and then they spend a week personalizing them and sticking magnets on them, and then they stick them all around the city and little kids collect the whole set sort of thing, and each of them are unique. So originally I had this because it's basically a fun cute thing for kids to do. I had this bright fabric and I was like, because I've got enough. I think I've got like 2.5 or 3 yards. So I've got enough for a simple dress as well as a small bolero. And yeah, so originally I was going to use this fabric and just like make the dress and the jacket 1 week and then customize, like hang the little ducks off it in the second episode. But then I sort of got more ducks and divided them into the different colours. And then I was like, yeah, I think maybe I will do the yellow and orange ones on this fabric still. But I like the idea of it being just plain green wool and cashmere. And I was going to just do a certain set of colours. I do think I'll use most of these ones for the Red Keys jacket. But my original idea with the ducks was to use, because they come in packs of all different colours, I was going to do like kids' movies. So, Despicable Me, Gru wears black, so I could do a black duck with black beads. And then he adopts 3 little girls. One wears a tweed brown sweater, a brown jacket. The middle one only wears pink and pink. And the young one pretty much wears a lighter pink. And she's totally in love with unicorns. And the unicorn is white with a rainbow horn, I think. So yeah, that's what each of those duck represents. And like the white duck would represent the unicorn, and it would have the beads, the string of beads that hold on the white duck would be rainbow, and the middle child, the one who wears only pink and pink, it would be light pink, dark pink, light pink, dark pink. And then another movie is Monsters Inc. So Sully is blue and mauve. So he'd be a blue duck, and the string of beads would be blue and mauve. And then Boo, who's the little girl who gets caught in Monsterland, she's pink, and like I do little clusters. And yeah, so I think I will do that, just because it was so much fun to think up all the little, like, Frozen, how there's Olaf and he'd have orange string because his nose is orange and things like that. So I might do that. But also I still on the duck theme, because I ended up buying quite a few ducks, and there's quite a few of the black like colors that I can't really use on other things, but they go really well with this. It's like a Dutch master's painting. Yes, I do need to iron it. And I could have like a little black duck on black string, and he could be, because Gotham is New York City, that's where Batman is from, and he could be Batman. Anyway, I think he just had to be there. So I do like all the ideas I had. And I don't think I'll do the pizza one because, yeah, there's literally kids so hungry they're drawing pictures of pizzas of pizza and candy and things like that. But the other ones, I think I'll make the base jacket, and we'll see how many of the frosting bits that I get done. Okay, next up we have the Paris jacket, the third of my 3 favourite cities. I love Art Nouveau, like the metro station, and there's just loads of Art Nouveau architecture in Paris. But I don't know. I think I'll just keep thinking about that as an inspiration. There are the gargoyles on Notre Dame, the cathedral, and I've got a light grey wool. So I was thinking, that Alexander Viveur, it's like dragon scale metallic jacket from, gosh, it's got to be about a decade ago now. Well, you could do sort of, I don't know, like gargoyles on the shoulders or something. I don't know. But I have this light grey fabric and I've got grey beads and silver. So I just thought it was a possibility. Next up, you can buy these Doll's House bits of food, and they have French breadsticks, and they have croissants, and they have like little gâteau cakes with strawberries on them. So yeah, they also had strawberry tarts, like berry tarts and all different sort of custard tarts, but they didn't look as good. So yeah, I think I'll do something with that. I'm not sure really what sort of base jacket to do that one on. My other 2 ideas for Paris are, well, that's where Vertical Gardens, the commercial idea of them, was invented, and also Rodin, his house mansion was in Paris, was turned into the Rodin Museum. He's the one who did the Thinker, and there's also this other sculpture he did, which is like a mishmash of all his most famous sculptures, and it's called The Gates of Hell. It's like this massive entrance, and then around it is all the depictions of all his most famous works. So I thought maybe I'll think of get all my most favorite or most well-known beading techniques or something and use them all in one jacket, but I don't know. It was just an idea. Next up we have the vintage brooch jacket. So years ago now, Alexander McQueen did this. It's like a black tuxedo, and it's just got loads of different clusters of beads on it, and they look like vintage brooches. And also Dolce & Gabbana did these hot pants, and they look like they're covered in all different types of vintage brooches and costume jewellery. It's just so completely fabulous. That one, it's more cheap costume jewellery, so it looks amazing from far away, whereas the Alexander McQueen one looks good up close. And this is from 1983, Karl Lagerfeld's first collection for Chanel. And it looks like it's just costume jewellery on a plain black wool dress, but it's actually all embellishment beading on there by Lesage. So I've been looking at all these vintage brooches. I like the idea of them actually looking like real vintage brooches and using up like one big bead and then surrounding it by pearls and then surrounding them by other ones. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of work, but I've got some metallic gold fabric that I could make the jacket out of that, or I've got black suiting. So I think I'll probably do the black suiting. I was getting really excited. I was like, I'm going to make this one and that one and this one, but I think I'll just start with one. And I do like the idea of using this teal. Maybe I'll make the jacket for the teal so that I know how much I've got left over so I can do the firefly one as well. But yeah, so there's enough. I think I bought 2 yards of that, but it's quite narrow. So I can probably get 2 teal jackets and 1 firefly jacket out of that fabric. And then I'll also do 1 black suiting one and maybe 1 metallic gold one. And then I'll have jackets, and I'll only had time to do beading on like 1 of the vintage brooch ones, but I'll have the other jackets there for later on. And yeah, it's a really pretty fabric, and I'm glad I got it at the sale, so it was really cheap, and all I could get was that. But I think it's good. Next, so yeah, I do like the idea of eventually doing one that's emeralds and clear glass, and just one that's diamonds or clear glass on black, but I think for the first one I'll just do a mix of everything. My next jacket is another, I think it's been literally years since I did this yellow floral jacket, and then the start of last year I did the apricot one that has strawberries in it, and then I tried to do another autumn harvest one, but I didn't really like it. So it's definitely time to do another fabric flower jacket. The fireflies jacket is technically a flower or foliage jacket, so yeah, and so is the 91st Street one, but I think I want to do another one as well. And then we have a vertical garden jacket, and this is just strings of beads hanging down, and I've looked at lots of different vertical gardens. So I like the idea of mixing different greens, and I've got different leaf shaped beads, so little clusters of them. But I also, yeah, and some of the plants have dark red leaves, and some of them have purple, and some of them have dark green and light green, like variegated, but some of them also have white and dark green. So I think I'll just mix things. But I also have, like the fabric flowers, I also have fabric foliage. So I technically could mix dripping down beads with foliage, like artificial foliage as well. But if I do just beads, I like this fabric, maybe do lots of dripping down beads, because it's got the magenta and the dark reddy in there as well. I could do, those indoor plants that have that really, really dark red and dark green leaf in them. I love that. I've got this sort of cotton canvas, so a thicker cotton, almost like a denim, that's grey, and it's printed with all different indoor plants and leaves. So I might use that one and then do purpley, like black beads dripping down on that one. That'd be interesting. And I also have loads of different greens. I've only got enough of this green cashmere and wool blend to do 2 tiny bolero jackets. One of them is going to be the duck pond, and the other one is going to be one of the cottage gardens, I think. But these are the olive one and the rayon with the black splodges on it and the white dots. I think that would be good for a vertical garden or cottage garden. I'm not sure. And the one on the end with the flowers, definitely going to, I think that's more of a cottage garden one that I will use that cotton for. And obviously, yes, I will actually get around to ironing them. I've just got this storage box full of fabrics that need to be ironed. So yes, definitely time to iron them. And yeah, I love this green. It's just such a pretty colour. Anyway, and I occasionally keep mentioning that I have this tomato fabric. It's navy base, and then it's got vine tomatoes in like orange, green and different reds, and I just love that fabric. So I could do a vertical garden beading on that as well, just dripping down drips of long green, all different greens, but also I've got orange beads and red beads. So I could really go to town with that one. It'd be a really interesting mix. And I actually have some tomato shaped like kids necklace bead, well, they're pendants. So that could be an interesting one, but it could also end up being a messy mess. Anyway, the next one is the cottage garden. And there's sort of like field of flowers is where they're all different, like you have 5 different types of flowers and you mix them all, sprinkle them evenly over the whole thing. But I also like the cottage gardens with the herbaceous borders, you know, where there's a clump of this, a clump of that, a clump of this. So I think I like both of them. So I think I will make an extra green. I've got this green felt, and it's not the nicest fabric. It's felt, but if I cover it, sprinkle all different coloured flowers all over it, you'll still see the green in the background, but it would be mostly covered up. So that would be a good use of the felt. But I've also got loads of floral fabric, so perhaps I don't know. I really like the idea of mixing making flowers out of my giant sequins and mixing them with a floral print and also some faux flowers like the fabric ones. So, but I mean, again, that could just end up looking like a big old mess. And this fabric here with the flowers on it, you could hang flowers down off it, or it would look really beautiful if you just hung down strings of green beads. So the beading was just foliage, like vertical garden foliage, but the actual fabric is flowers. And this one, I think this would look gorgeous if it had big sequin flowers on it. So it'd be flowers on flowers, like the lighter sections. I don't really like the white sections and the lighter of the creamy sections, so I'd do the big flowers there, and then you'd see all the beautiful colours in the background. So it'd look like, you know, what I love about those cottage gardens is the sort of design idea of different rooms in the garden. So you sort of look through an arch that's blooming over with climbing roses, and you can see other flowers in the distance. So that's kind of the idea with that one. And I do like the idea, but I think I should do a simple one first and work my way up to the more complex, multi-dimensional, 3-dimensional ones. So I'll see how much time I have. I'll do like this, the 2 green jackets, I definitely want to do them. 1 grey jacket, I want to do that. I forgot to tell you about the grey one. So yeah, the other half of the grey wool fabric, I'll make a little bolero, and you know how they have those grey stone paths? Then I'd put leaves and flowers all over it. I think that would be, I don't know, I like the idea, but whether it would work in execution is something else altogether. And then lastly, we have the Chandelier jacket, which is basically vertical garden beading, but not green. So I really like the idea of using brown sequin fabric and antique gold and brown seed beads on there, and sort of just swooping these big swoops of seed beads just down, and like curtains, you know how you sort of swoop them up and hold them. That, and I also have this really pale green tweed that's pale green and cream, and I think that would be awesome. So I might do a chandelier one. I'll do the base jacket. Who knows if I'll have time to actually do the chandelier beading on it, but I think that would be cute too. So that is my update on my Make 9 for 2025. I spent months literally just doing the designing all the little concepts and working them out, and it was so much fun. Designing the jackets is definitely my favorite part. This is just a flick through all the slides. So yeah, I've got enough ideas to last me a decade, which is awesome. And I do think I'll make maybe a dozen of the jackets, and we'll see how far we get with them. I've made at least a dozen things this year already. So, I'm not going to get them all done, but I do think I'll get a little bit way through them. So I might as well make the base jackets, and then we'll see. If you have a few to choose from, sometimes it can be too stressful and you end up being not that, you can't decide what to do. But sometimes having a few different options is helpful, because you get stuck on one. You sort of enthusiasm wanes for one, and you're like, okay, I'll switch to working on another one and I'll be super productive for this one. And yeah, so my plan is to get the base jackets done next and then start decorating them. How about you? How are you doing Make 9 for this year, and how's it going? Have you actually started any of them? I think the point is to get you motivated and to keep you creative, so it's definitely already done that for me. But it is definitely time, very much time, to make the actual jackets. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found a little inspiration in there somewhere. Thanks again for watching, and happy sewing.